Imagine standing at the very threshold of eternity. Before you stands Cerberus, a mythic guardian whose 3 heads snap at the air, his growl shaking the very foundations of the earth. You have no sword, no shield, and no armor. In your hands you hold only a wooden lyre. Most heroes of antiquity carved their paths through raw strength and blood. But this man, he made time itself stand still and caused the iron heart of the King of Shadows to soften. This is the story of Orpheus, a journey into the darkest depths of the human soul, and a haunting reminder of how the greatest gift in the world can lose to the simplest human instinct, the urge to look back. Orpheus was no ordinary mortal. Born to Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, and gifted his first instrument by Apollo himself, he didn't just play music, he commanded the elements. In the ancient world, Orpheus was the ultimate icon. When he struck the strings, the chaos of nature fell into order. It's said that wild lions would follow him like loyal hounds, and even the most ancient oak trees would uproot themselves just to lean closer to his melody. He represented the power of the mind and the spirit over brute force. He even proved his worth among the greatest warriors of his age, the Argonauts. While Jason and Heracles relied on muscle to survive, Orpheus was their secret weapon. When the dreaded sirens began their lethal song to lure the crew to a watery grave, Orpheus didn't cover his ears. He simply grabbed his lyre and played a song so pure, so divine, that the sirens themselves fell silent in shame. He defeated death once on the open sea, but he was about to face a much more personal shadow. The heart of this legend belongs to Eurydice, a nymph of ethereal beauty. Their love was the kind that poets spend lifetimes trying to describe. It was a harmony of 2 souls, but in Greek mythology, perfection is often a prelude to a tragedy. On their wedding day, the air should have been filled with song. Instead, it was pierced by a scream. While wandering through the tall grass, Eurydice was bitten by a venomous serpent. In an instant, the music stopped. The color drained from her face, and her soul was swept away into the sunless realm of Hades before the sun had even set on her marriage. The grief that followed wasn't loud or angry. It was a hollow, haunting silence that draped over the world. Orpheus realized that a world without Eurydice was a world without music. And so he decided to do what no living man had ever dared. He would break the laws of existence and bring her back. The entrance to the underworld is a place of absolute finality. To enter is to leave hope behind. But as Orpheus descended into the sunless caverns, his music acted as a golden shield. He reached the river Styx, where the grim ferryman Charon waited. Charon, who has seen billions of souls and felt no pity for any, found himself weeping as Orpheus played a melody of his loss. For the first time in eons, the ferry moved for a living passenger. Next came Cerberus. The 3-headed beast lunged, but as the notes of the lyre filled the cavern, the monster's eyes grew heavy. The snarling stopped. The great guardian of hell fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. Orpheus walked past the snapping jaws deeper into the heart of the abyss, past the ghosts of kings and beggars alike, until he stood before the throne of obsidian. Hades, the king of shadows, and his queen Persephone looked down upon the intruder with cold indifference. No one bargains with death, but Orpheus didn't beg. He sang. He sang of the spring flowers Eurydice would never see again. He sang of the injustice of a love cut short. He sang of the pain that even gods feel when they are forgotten. The effect was tectonic. For the first time since the beginning of time, the Furies, the goddesses of vengeance, felt their cheeks grow wet with tears. Sisyphus stopped pushing his boulder just to listen. Tantalus forgot his eternal hunger. Even Hades, the most unyielding of all gods, felt a crack in his armor. He agreed to let Eurydice go, but he issued a warning that would echo through history. "She shall follow you," Hades whispered. "But you must lead her out into the light. If you turn your head to look at her even once before you reach the upper world, she is mine forever." This is the longest walk in human history. Orpheus began the climb, his heart drumming against his ribs. He could hear his own breathing, the scrape of his sandals on the cold stone. But behind him, Silence. Remember, Eurydice was now a shade. She had no breath, no heartbeat, no footsteps. He had to trust the word of a god known for his coldness. Minutes turned into hours. The darkness felt like it was pressing against his back. Every fiber of his being screamed at him to check if she was still there. What if she tripped? What if the shadows swallowed her? What if I am walking alone toward the sun? The psychological torture was worse than any physical labor. He was feet away from the surface. He could see the pale blue light of dawn filtering through the cave's mouth. The warmth of the sun touched his forehead. He was safe. He was out. In a moment of pure, ecstatic relief, Orpheus stepped into the daylight and turned around to share the joy with his bride. But he had forgotten one crucial detail. He was in the light, but Eurydice was still one step behind, still within the threshold of the cave. As he turned, he saw her. She was there, beautiful, pale, and reaching out for him. But because he had looked too soon, the contract was broken. He saw her face for one fleeting second before she was yanked back by an invisible force. Her form dissolved into mist receding into the darkness. Her final word wasn't a cry of anger, but a soft, heartbreaking farewell. Orpheus tried to follow her again, but the gates were shut. Charon would not return. The gods do not give second chances. He spent the rest of his days wandering the wilderness, playing music that was so sad it made the stars weep. He had conquered the king of death, but he could not conquer his own human doubt. Why do we still tell this story thousands of years later? Because we are all Orpheus. We all have moments where we are so close to our goals, so close to our happily ever after, only to let our anxieties and our lack of faith ruin everything. Orpheus reminds us that while art can touch the divine, being human means living with the consequences of our shadows.